decade, I have studied young people that have been pushed out of school, so-called dropouts. As they end up failed by the education system, they're on the streets where they're vulnerable to violence, police harassment, police brutality, and incarceration. I see these young people through a perspective that looks at the assets that they bring to the education system. How do I know that these young people have the potential and the promise to change? I know this because I am one of them. You see, I grew up in dire poverty in the inner city. We were on welfare, sometimes homeless, many times hungry. By the time I was 15 years old, I had been incarcerated in juvie 3 times for 3 felonies. The reason I'm here today is because a teacher that cared, reached out, and managed to tap into my soul. This teacher, Mrs. Russ, she was the kind of teacher that was always in your business. I told her a story about my Uncle Reuben. He would take me to work with him because I was broke and he knew I needed some money. He collected glass bottles for a living. 4 a.m. on a school day, would throw the glass bottles in the back of his van, and the bottles would break. And my hands and arms would start to bleed, and I was terrified and in pain, and I would stop working. And my uncle, he would look at me in the eyes, and he would say to me, "Mijo, estamos buscando vida." We're searching for a better life. We're trying to make something out of nothing. Mrs. Russ listened to my story, welcomed it into the classroom, and said, "Victor, this is your power. This is your potential. Your family, your culture, your community have taught you a hard work ethic, and you will use it to empower yourself in the academic world so you can come back and empower your community." With Mrs. Russ's help, I ended up returning to school. I even finished my credits on time and graduated with my class. But Ms. Russ said to me right before graduation, "Victor, I'm so proud of you. Now it's time to go to college." College me? Man, what is this teacher smoking, thinking I'm going to college? I applied, got a letter of acceptance, and one of the paragraphs read, "You've been admitted under probationary status." I said, "Probation? I'm already on probation. That don't matter." But what do teachers like Ms. Russ do to succeed with young people like the ones I study? I propose 3 strategies. The first, let's get rid of our deficit perspective in education. These people come from a culture of violence, a culture of poverty. These people are at risk. These people are truant. These people are empty containers for us to fill with knowledge. Number 2, let's value the stories that young people bring to the schoolhouse. Their stories of overcoming unsurmountable odds are so powerful, and I know you know some of these stories. These very same stories and experiences already have grit, character, and resilience in them. So let's help young people refine those stories. And of course, the third strategy, being the most important, resources. We have to provide adequate resources to young people. Grit alone isn't going to cut it. You can sit there and tell me all you want. Hey man, pick yourself up by the bootstraps. But if I was born without any straps on my boots, how am I supposed to pick myself up?